Welcome back to the 11th episode of Flippin' Friday. Today we have a gaming PC that I paid just less than $600 for, and per usual, we're gonna be making some good profit. I think I'll be able to sell this for over $750. So this is gonna be a good one to copy. Excuse me for sounding a little bit sick. I'm gonna try and make this episode as quick as possible because your boy needs to go home and get some sleep because this sickness is being very annoying. But regardless, let's start taking a quick look at these parts list and then we're gonna build this gaming PC. Just to go over the quick performance parts, we have the Intel i3-10105F, which I always buy for around $83 on places like Staples. We have 16 gigabytes of G.Skill Ripjaws 5 RAM. I actually bought this used on Mercari for $55 purely for the color scheme here. For the graphics card, we have the Power Color RX 6500 XT, which I paid just $200 for, aka the MSRP on Newegg, and we'll talk about everything else as we build this PC. Let's get started. Just like usual, if you are trying to copy this for your own gaming PC flips, everything that I'm talking about today will be linked down in the description. And also, just like normal, you 100% gotta activate Windows 10 for these builds, and good thing the sponsor of today's video can help us out with that.
I just wanted to remind you guys that today's build was indeed activated with Windows like all my other PC builds and flips, and I personally use GVG Mall, which is also the sponsor of today's video. Right now, they're actually increasing our normal 18% discount all the way up to 25% off, so you can get a legit Windows 10 activated version without that nasty watermark for a really cheap price. They also have other great products on other software like Office 2021 and even some game keys from platforms like Steam, Origin, and Uplay, and they even have console stuff too like PSN and Xbox prepaid cards as well. Activating that Windows 10 on your computer is super simple to do. The entire process of buying and activating takes like 5 minutes total, so make sure you click that first link down in the description and don't forget to use discount code ZTT18 for 25% off.
One thing that I wanted to mention real quickly was that I've been buying these Intel 660p 512GB NVMe drives for $45 on B&H, which is like absolutely perfectly for budget gaming PC flips like this one. But the problem is all you see is that green, super ugly PCB. Hopefully that focuses right there. And we obviously can't have that for aesthetic gaming PCs. So what I've also been buying are these like $5 to $8 all black M.2 NVMe shields. Well, it doesn't have to be NVMe, but basically like these are just heat sinks if your SSD were to overheat, but that's most likely not the case with Gen 3 drives. So I've been just using them aesthetically. I'll gladly pay the $8 to have these SSDs be all black with the heatsink rather than this super ugly green color. So I'm gonna add this to the parts list, which I didn't anticipate. And the other thing that I wanted to quickly talk about again was this Intel i3-10105F. It's only 4 cores and 8 threads. As some of you know, it's a little bit harder to market an i3, but it is just so hard to beat in terms of price to performance. I've been paying $83, like I said, but when you combine that with a $67 H510 motherboard. Granted, this isn't like a future-proof motherboard or anything, but for a flip like this, it'll be perfectly fine. That makes the total just $150 for the CPU and motherboard combo, and that is extremely tough to beat right now, even competing with budget Ryzen 5 and like B450 motherboards. Oh yeah, see, for $8, that is absolutely worth it. That looks so much better than that green PCB. Now that our power supply and our motherboard is fully prepped, it's time to take a quick look at this case. And this is the DIYPC A5-BK, and I'm really excited about this. Mark from Discord and Twitch actually recommended taking a look at this. It only costs $40, which could potentially be really good for budget flips like this. It does have a red accent up here at the front. It comes with one included black fan and nothing up at the front, but every PC flipper like myself has extra black fans, so I'm just gonna add 2 of them to the front here. It also has our cutout for the power supply vinyl action, which you just saw that we did. And yeah, I mean, we'll see how this does, but for $40, I have high hopes, okay? Like that's some serious value there, hopefully. And one more thing before I start building, if you've been watching Flippin' Friday for a while now, you'll have noticed that I've been using this Solos standing desk for a few episodes now. And if you're a PC builder and you haven't invested in a standing desk, I would highly recommend that you do it because it makes things way easier. This one specifically is the Solos Advanced Standing Desk, and a huge shout out to them for hooking me up with this. You guys already know the deal by now. Sitting at a desk staring at your computer all day is absolutely horrible for you, but for us PC builders specifically, this is a complete game changer when you're actually assembling a PC like I'm doing. Being able to stand and freely walk and move around the desk rather than sitting or getting on your knees to get up and under the PC is super handy, and as you've probably seen during this whole Flippin' Friday series, I'm almost always standing while building. This desk is pretty neat too, as it has a huge 300-pound lifting capacity and it's rock solid, so no need to worry about that. And it also has this programmable console that allows you to save different heights, which is perfect for when you want to go from the seated to standing position without having to manually adjust it every single time. It also has an industry-leading anti-collision system, which I've definitely been putting to the test. When it's raising, if it notices that there's some resistance, it'll stop quickly, that way it doesn't break anything or itself. On the website here, you can see that they have multiple desk shapes, sizes, and colors. I personally went with this white top with the black base look, and Solos is hooking my viewers up with a 20% off discount code, which is linked down in the description. Big thanks to Solos for hooking me up with a proper PC building desk, but yeah, let's continue building this thing so we can make us some money. So real quickly about this RX 6500 XT, it definitely has a lot of controversy, rightfully so, and I do want to give the quick disclaimer that this graphics card is still a decent value if you can get it at its true MSRP of $200, but you definitely don't want to overpay for it, especially now that graphics card prices are dropping lower and lower. And the other disclaimer about this build specifically is because this is an Intel 10th gen system, we don't have access to PCIe Gen 4, we only have Gen 3, which means we are leaving a little bit of performance of this card on the table. So definitely something to be aware of. Intel 11th gen or 12th gen obviously would have been better so we can maximize the performance of this graphics card, but still for budget flips like this, a 10105F and a 6500 XT is still a really good combo, especially if that price is really low. And just like that, this is what the PC is looking like, and we are not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. So far at a quick glance, it probably looks pretty solid, but I am definitely not a fan of the shade of red that HyperX RAM kit is looking like. So all of the other red on the vinyl and the cable extensions is a little bit more vibrant, and this is more like metallic color. So I'm going to swap out the RAM for this XPG Gamex D20 black kit. This actually costs just a couple of dollars more, but I think it's gonna be worth it. Let's see how it looks. And just like that, I think that looks so much better. So you guys know how I operate at this point. I get a little picky on the aesthetics of my build, and these red colors just were not lining up properly. So we'll have to figure out what to do with those. Thankfully, I had this black kit laying around. But the one thing I am noticing already, and you might notice it right now, is I can't figure out how to change the color of this case RGB. I just revisited the website and it says it's 7 color changeable, but in every single picture, I thought it was red. So like, I don't care if it's changeable, I just want to be able to do red, but I don't see any sort of buttons or anything. This is just a reset switch, power switch. I can't press this in at all. I don't know how to change that color. So until I figure that out, I'm just going to unplug it because I'm actually not too confident that you can change it. But yeah, other than that, I think this build looks beautiful. Just a little subtle red here to go along with this black and red color scheme. Let's take a couple quick shots of some B-roll and then we'll wrap up this video. Here you have the full parts list after we swapped out that RAM kit and added the M.2 black heatsink, which now totals $578, which is still actually really solid, even with those GPU prices dropping like crazy. If you're following this as a flip template, I think it would be super easy to sell a build like this at like $750 for about $172 profit. But you guys know how I personally roll at this point. This build will be even cheaper than that during my next website launch on May 1st. But now we got to move to performance, and just like usual, I had Sam whip up a quick benchmarking run. No footage or anything, but here's the numbers for those of you that are interested in seeing what the i3-10105 and RX 6500 XT are capable of. Remember that you could get slightly better results with that PCIe Gen 4 setup if you're using Intel 11th Gen, for example, but as you can see, these are still really good results for a build that costs less than $600. And then you guys know the deal by now. If you're interested in buying this PC directly from me, then head on over to the zackstechdrift.com website. This will be up on the May 1st launch, and I've been selling my builds for super cheap. You guys know this. It's probably gonna be on sale for like $600, maybe $650. Either way, someone is gonna get really hooked up. But that's gonna wrap up Flippin' Friday episode number 11. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this series. I'll catch you guys in the next episode.